Hello everyone and welcome to Club Reaction to Dundee United 0, Rangers 2 here on Club at 22 the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube tonight, so get involved in the live chat, let us know your thoughts on the game. And what a game of two halves it turned out to be. I am Scott Carney and I'm joined by everybody. Ali, how are you, mate?
Not too bad. Sober weekend as well. I think it's a sober weekend for all of us actually. And all four on the podcast today, so glad to be here to talk about at least one half of that game.
At least one half, yes, for sure. I wasn't quite sober. I had a few drinks last
night.
No,
sorry.
I certainly was not drunk last night when I went to my bed, put it that way, but I had a few. Ryan, how's it going, mate?
Aye, all good. Sober weekend, as you say, but that first half was almost driving me to drink and other things. But still here and not touched a drink, which is good.
Yeah, and we found Scotia. Scotia, how are you?
Yeah, I've recovered, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm all right. Yeah, no, I'm really good actually after that second half performance by Rangers. So I'll maybe have a wee Mena Brea later on because the Roma Milano.
Don't you dare, Scotia. Well, so don't you dare.
There you go. Ali, just to ruin your wee intro there, Ali.
Yeah, just mean Ryan then.
Yeah, no, I only had a few. Well, if I wasn't anywhere near drunk at all. But today, so a clean sheet, 2 goals, 3 points, 5 wins and a draw for Michael Beale in his first 6 games. Things are not perfect, but it's certainly a record that he can go ahead and continue to build on, that's for sure. The starting 11 today, tonight, evening, whatever, early evening, I don't know what you call it, the 4 o'clock Sunday kickoff, was McLaughlin, Tavernier, Goldson, Davies, Barisic, Lundstrom, Jack, Tilman, Kent, Sakala and Čolak. So the return of number 9 for Rangers, Antonio Čolak and McGregor dropping to the bench. Also, Ali, you did call it again with a sad face, mate. There was no Matondo in the squad again. Not that I was particularly upset about that, but what was your thoughts in the start 11?
I thought Čolak would start after him, seeing Morelos has been kind of carrying injuries, so I wasn't surprised in that one. McGregor, I was surprised, but then the more I thought about it, I think John McLaughlin will play Sunday against Aberdeen in the League Cup. I know he likes to play him in cup games, I think, so he may be in there. So he maybe had one eye in that. And we laugh and joke Matondo, but once again, he's nowhere near the bench. And it's not a great bench when you look at that bench. And you spent $3 million on a guy who can't get on that bench. So I think that tells a story of where he is at the moment. But overall, team was what I thought, to be honest, apart from the goalkeeper, which we all didn't really expect. But looking to next week, I think he may play McLaughlin next week.
Yeah, Ryan, he's maybe got a shout there in terms of maybe why he did start McLaughlin, that he might come in for the cup games. I think that was maybe the only, is it a shock? I'm not 100% sure it is a shock, but he did say before the game, I see Andrew come in and said that just there, that he said it's time to give John another go. Do you think this is maybe just a wee confidence booster for McLaughlin going into Sunday?
Yeah, I totally skimmed past when I was looking at the team. I just automatically assumed McGregor's in goal, so I think it was Ali said in the chat, aye, McLaughlin's in goals. I was like, totally missed it. I think it's good management from Beale. I think you might see things like that, not just the goalkeeping position, but you might see people getting a chance that possibly wouldn't have a couple of weeks ago. I think Ali as well makes a good point. It could be... It's probably not fair to drop him now. It's probably the right thing to do is play McLaughlin on against Aberdeen now. So I think there's definitely a shout there. And let's be honest, he didn't do anything wrong. He did come for a few balls, which people always say McGregor wouldn't come for, and they're probably right. So I think McLaughlin had a quiet second half, but he did enough, I think, in what he had to do. So yeah, I think it's his shot to lose at the moment.
Yeah, it's clean sheet for me, McLaughlin, for sure. Scotia, your thoughts on the start 11?
I don't even know whether to be surprised or not, because today's been the first day that I've actually looked at anything Rangers related since last Monday. So I didn't hear the press conference, I didn't know sort of team news and things like that. So seeing the team, I was like, oh, that's a strong enough team. But speaking about the goalkeeping position there, I think I'd said to you guys like throughout December, I don't know if I've said it on the pod or not, I know I've said it to you anyway, if we don't win against Celtic last Monday, I think it's time to play McCrory and keep him in goals. But so it was interesting to see McLaughlin coming in. No concerns from me for him coming in, because if you remember, him and Gerrard used to change McLaughlin and McGregor around an awful lot, particularly at the start of the season. And I think you would class this as kind of as Beale's start of the season period. But no, I thought no qualms with McLaughlin coming in. Like you say, I mean, to be honest, you'll maybe come to it, and he's pretty much saved. He kept us from going into the half time at 1-0 down, if I'm being honest, with one of the saves he made. So no, I think it probably is McLaughlin's to lose now. When you see that it was McGregor on the bench, I think it's going to be McLaughlin number one, maybe going forward. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think, you're probably right that we were all kind of calling for it after the old firm that it was time to kind of move on and start looking towards the future. And maybe McLaughlin is maybe the short term for next season. And a lot of people might not want to hear that, but he could be the number one for next season with McCrory as the backup, because I think we're all in pretty much agreement that it's time for Alan McGregor to hang up his gloves. I think that's no disrespect to him, but we can't continue just to keep playing him because eventually the cliff will come. Anyway, we'll get into the game. This first half, honestly, I'll try and get through it as quickly as I possibly can, honestly. First 10 minutes was nothing to report, literally nothing. Kent was looking a bit sharp. Goldson should maybe do a bit better with a header from a corner. It's a free header, but he is a wee bit far out to get a kind of dangerous effort on goal. 12th minute, we get our first shot on target with Cholak getting the shot away, but it's straight at the keeper. 15 minutes, we do get a chance to break. Cholak holds up the ball really well, gets it to Tilman. He plays it to Sakala to run down the right, but he runs straight into his man. Ali, your thoughts on the first 15? There was, literally nothing happening.
It's pretty poor, to be honest. And it's another half where we've not started again. And we're getting this from Rangers. We're getting one half from them. And usually it's the second half under Beale at the moment, but they didn't start well at all. Dundee United probably had the better chances at Fletcher up front. I don't know age Stephen Fletcher is now. He must be about 36 or something now. He had a couple of chances, but it was quite slow for me in the middle of the park as well. Jack and Lundstrom in there. Tilman wasn't really in the game either. Sakala was being frustrating. Plenty of work effort, but he was running down alleyways into, you know what I mean. But it was frustrating because it's another game where we've just not started. And I think we should be going to these grounds and taking it to these teams. And once again, we're not doing it.
Yeah, Ryan, it was frustration. Say Sakala likes cul-de-sacs sometimes. I think that's where Ali was going, that he just doesn't, he's got nowhere to go, and he just continues to do it. And I did have the fear that it was a wee bit one of those days. We have seen this previous under Beale so far, that we don't really seem to start the game very well, and it is a worrying thing. And we'll come on to what happened in the second half, of course, but as I said, the way we always do these reaction pods is I'll always call it, and I'll say how I was feeling at the time. And yeah, as I say, Ali was right. Ben Davies got a warning, a bit of a warning sign from Fletcher. He allowed him to turn with the ball and get a shot away. Okay, the shot was over the bar, but it was something that we're going to need to be concerned about with Fletcher. And I had that feeling of, no doubt he'll get a goal. Whatever age he is, 37-year-old striker will get a goal against us. Of course he will. But there was nothing, just nothing to really put your hat on as a Rangers fan for the majority of the half, to be honest.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think there was much happening in the first half. I think that they looked slow and lethargic, like we've seen so many times. To be honest, apart from the 55 season, I've seen Rangers starting games like this under all managed teams, under like Gerrard, Van Bronckhorst. We've seen this a lot. They just don't start games quickly. And the tempo, when they've got the ball, the tempo is just not there. They're not pressing, and they need to rock up their backside at half time, and it looks like they got it. In terms of personnel, I think Ben Davies had quite a poor first half. I think Fletcher had the better of him, turned him a couple of times. There was a ball as well where Ben Davies just kind of let it bounce, and then he lost the second ball, and then it came to him again, and he let it bounce again, and I was quite surprised. I don't know why he didn't go up for the header. But in Sakala, just to touch on him, I've said a few times, he does look like a competition winner. So many times he does look as if he's not a professional footballer. But there is something you cannot challenge this guy on his numbers. I know we'll go on to the second half, but that first half is just a perfect example of the kind of poor side of Fashion Sakala, where I did think he was very poor in the first half.
Yeah, Scotia. Another thing, it's obviously continuing to creep up now because Bill's mentioned it and we're all seeing it, is just how slack we are in possession at times. It's just really not taking care with your passes. And it's just so easy for the other team to turn over the ball against us, and they're not really doing anything. It's more Rangers that are doing it themselves. And this just probably leads to what you were coming on about McLaughlin. Is Fletcher got another good shot away from a Middleton cross. Again, I thought Tav struggled to deal with his pace in the first half especially. Then the kind of second phase of the corner calls McLaughlin into action. As it's kind of they're in down our right hand side, the ball comes across and McLaughlin has to come out and push that ball out of danger because there's a United player running straight onto it. But at this point, mate, I'm going, we are not really reacting here. There doesn't really seem to be a drive in us, and United did look like the more likely team to score.
Yeah, I mean, that was around about the 25th minute or so when that they had that chance, and I thought there was a wee spell. You talked about the spells that Goldson had that corner and Jolak get his shot and goal. I thought, right, this is Rangers growing into the game, and we're going to kick on and go forward. We obviously clearly didn't in that half, because before that, like you say, there was a few slack passes, I thought, by Goldson and Lundstrom trying sort of that Hollywood Rob Kiernan ball, as we call it, and it wasn't coming off. But I did see a stat that get put up on Twitter by someone that might have been Rangers Review, but I think we had our passing completion percentage was 83% or something like that, which was an awful lot higher than I expected to be. But it's probably all those wee side-to-side tappy passes that have been completed rather than anything kind of penetrating. But no, for that chance that Dundee United had there, it was just before, I think, the one that Ryan was talking about, where Fletcher probably should have tucked that away. Or you would at least expect, if it was your striker, for him to flick that away when Middleton had crossed it in. But defensively, we looked a wee bit ropey at times. Middleton had the beating of Tav an awful lot. Fletcher was causing all sorts of problems to, like you say, Davies, but also to Goldson as well. There's a times I thought, and yeah, it wasn't great. It was that whole first half, in a nutshell, was pretty poor. I was getting ready to kind of flick between the Sampdoria and Napoli game in the second half. It was that bad during the first.
Take Studge points off Scotia someday. Somebody take note of that.
Mark, take Studge points off me as well, mate. I fell asleep for 10 minutes already. Go.
That's old age, but mate, I wasn't even the drink because you were high this weekend. That's old age, mate. Yeah. On to 30 minutes, a ball over the top from Lundstrom, gets Sakala in, but again, his control and his composure was awful, really, really poor. He does win us a corner from it, but nothing comes of the resulting corner. Tilman was having very little effect on this game, same as Cholak for me. Middleton was closing Tav down every time Tav got the ball, and it was becoming a bit frustrating to watch. Tav was wanting too much time on the ball. We weren't moving the ball quickly enough at all, and we weren't capitalising, Ali, when we were winning the ball in dangerous areas. Dundee United weren't exactly brilliant in possession either. They were giving the ball away cheaply, but we were winning the ball in their half, midway in their half, and we were just making nothing happen. It was beginning to feel like one of those days, mate. I'm not going to lie. Sorry for the negativity, by the way. We'll get to the good bit. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, it was. We were winning the ball back quite a lot, but Ryan talked about tempo. It is the tempo for me. It's too slow. See if we just up that tempo against these teams, they won't live with us. And you've seen that in the second half, which you'll come on to, but it was just too slow, and it allowed Dundee United to get back into their shape, and they were quite happy, Dundee United. We never really threatened them at all. Big Cholak, you need to remember, he's not played football for us in quite a while now, so yeah, you'll be a bit rusty. Didn't get great service either, but it was a first half to forget, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it definitely was, mate. There's no doubt about it. Again, in the last 10 minutes and a half, Rangers, we did have the pressure on United. Pressure's probably the wrong word. We had the fair share of possession. We had, I don't know, at one point we must have made, I don't know how many passes in a row, but there was no penetrating passes. It was just this side-to-side stuff that we're kind of falling into the old routine. Ryan, you've said that a few times, that don't be shocked to see that happen again. Like, we'll fall into old habits, and there was a lot of that. There was a lot of nobody wanted to take the risk, because you could see that it wasn't quite happening for us in the first half. And then probably the probably the perfect the perfect move to sum up our half. Sakala did so well to win the ball back on the right hand side, gave it to Tilman, we worked it out to the left to Barisic. Barisic crosses the ball and the ball goes out for a throw in or the Dundee United's left hand side straight across the goal. And Ryan, at this point I was just like, please can it be half time now, thanks.
Is that what happened? Was it? I think I maybe missed
No,
that.
you sleeping? You sleeping at that point?
I maybe missed that. It's unfortunately not professional, but nodded off. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like that's, I think Rangers, as you say, but dropping into their old ways, and they get to. You just know Beale will be trying to hammer us out them, and you'll see it again this season. They seem to play a game of keep ball rather than trying to like any penetration towards their play. It's always pass, and side to side, and work it out to the wing, and then if the cross isn't on, you know where it's going again. I said to my dad, the amount of times Lundstrom receives the ball and he never shouts for the striker to drop in and take a 1-2 or anything like that to kind of open the play up. I've very, if ever, see Rangers do that. So it was just very mundane, mate. Very just the reason why the way they played the first half is the reason why we are so far behind them, unfortunately. But the positive is, which you're going to come on to, is clearly there's been something said at half time again, and the reaction's been had.
Yes, as I say, 1 minute added on time at the end of the half. A freshie from Tav as he tries to play a quick 1-2 with Kent as well, was one of those ones where you're like, please just blow the whistle, let us get off the pitch here. And yeah, half time, Scotia. At this point, mate, as I say, you are looking at the bench and you're going, what can we do? I'm not going to lie, I did expect Morelos to come on, and I'm not just saying that in hindsight. In my head, I went, if he's going to do anything here, he'll probably bring Morelos on.
Yeah, in terms of changes that he could make, when you look at who's on the bench and what we can do, it's a it was only attacking players that we could really bring on to change the game, I thought, because otherwise you're just changing like for like almost. You've seen that comment by Nicholas that you just put up there about Jack. I'd seen the first half. I did not like, and I don't like Jack playing on the left-hand side of midfield and Lundstrom in the right. I much prefer it when it's Jack Lundstrom rather than Lundstrom Jack. If you know what I mean? And I thought in the midfield we were very poor. Tilman, like you say, was well out of it. I mean, we were just all round that first half. We were really poor. One thing you didn't bring up, I don't know if we've all had enough talking about it, but it was that obviously Sky Sports made a big meal of it because I suppose they have to. But it was the VAR handball check that they brought up for Goldson. And then
it's just not a penalty, Scotia. Come on.
No. I just wanted to mention it again because Sky make a big meal out of this, because when it happened, I was obviously it was really congested in the area there, and I was expecting at least someone to shout for it. So no one shouted for it. So it was like, oh no, that's fine, gone by. But I did know that Sky were going to call that, or not Sky, but the VR officials were going to call that back. But I'm like you, it wasn't a penalty.
No, it definitely. The reason I didn't mention it because I was like, I don't even know why we're seeing this. Like, I think we've seen it like 3 times. Yeah. Like, why have we seen it 3 times? It's not a penalty. It isn't a penalty. What is he meant to do there? Is he just meant to make his arm disappear? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got about, I don't know, a quarter of a second to do something about moving his hand. It's just never a penalty. It just isn't. Honestly, it just isn't. Right into the second half, and we did see Morelos coming on for Čolak. Again, Čolak maybe a wee bit unlucky today. Obviously, he's not played in a wee while, but I didn't think there was much really coming from him. Again, might be the way that we're playing, the system that we're playing now with, under Beale. It might need a wee adjustment here or there, but I didn't really get much from Čolak today. Morelos was involved with a chance, even though initially it wasn't him. Barisic whipped over a pretty good ball. And at first I actually thought it was Morelos that got his head to it as he was falling over, but it's not. It's Sakala that's come in with a shot at the back post. It's well saved by the United keeper. Ali, Sakala's he's unlucky with this one here, I'm not going to lie. I mean, with Morelos falling and the defender falling right in front of him, he still manages to get his foot on it. But he was brought out a decent save by the keeper.
Yeah, no, I thought it was in at first, and then obviously it wasn't. The goalkeeper saves it. I mean, he's hit it right at the goalkeeper, which is unfortunate. Anywhere else, it's a goal, but he keeps trying. Sakala, he's one of these guys. You'll never hide Sakala. He always keeps going and going and going. That's what you want from a football player. He gives 100%. Sakala. I know folk get frustrated from him because sometimes he can be outstanding, which you'll come on to, and sometimes he can utter garbage at times. But that's wingers for you. But he gives 100%, and he was at the back post there, and I thought he was unlucky. We Alfie looked like he was raging because he got fouled, but I think it was actually Sakala that was trying to get a ball and sort of fouled him, to be honest. I don't think you realised that, but I thought it was unlucky, but you could see us starting to turn the screw a wee bit.
I think it was a bit of a pulling match between Morelos and the defender, to be honest. I don't think it was more 50-50 than anything else, and then obviously it was Sakala that clatters into the back of him. But it was a wee bit of 50-50. Morelos was screaming for it, but he was the only one screaming for it. 2 minutes later, Fletcher again caused our problems for our centre backs. This time Goldson doesn't really get near him, but his effort is right at McLaughlin. And then Ryan Rangers break a deadlock. A ball high down the channel from Borna Barisic, helped on by the shoulder of Ryan Jack to Sakala. One touch to tee himself up, mate, and he absolutely blasts it home. This is an absolutely terrific finish, honestly. It is immense, honestly. It's a great goal. It's a great bit of technique shown by him. And all I have noted down after this, mate, is this is it. Sakala is an impossible, because I've got no other words on how to sum this man up. But what a way for Rangers to take the lead.
Dreams don't die, Jamie Lowe, if you're watching. Listen, that was a great goal from Rangers, like a great team goal. The movement off the ball played up the line. Jack is very clever. He's very clever to notice Sakala running through. So to get the touch that he got on it was brilliant from Ryan Jack. Sakala's first touch is exquisite. It sets him up just to thunderblast it past the goalkeeper, and it's a great goal. And as you say, he is a bit of an enigma. He does, and he's both ends of the scale, where he does look like a competition winner, but he does something like that. And I genuinely believe if you play Sakala, I won't criticise him now because his numbers, he does these things so wrong and mucks up, loses possession, does the wrong thing, bad decision making, but then he comes up with a goal, or he's involved in a goal that breaks the deadlock. This is what you get from him. Similar to, not different types of player, but similar to Gabriel Amato years ago, where he was very frustrating, but he would have this moment in the game where he would open up. But the goal is a goal that you've just not seen for a long time from Rangers. It's very tidy play and getting bodies forward. We just, under Van Bronckhorst, I didn't feel as if we broke the lines, to use the Castor phrase, but we didn't break the lines enough under Van Bronckhorst, and that's what I want to see. When Rangers are attacking, I want to see bodies getting forward, and it was a very enjoyable goal.
It was, Scotia. This is fashion Sakala all over, mate. The good, the bad, the tremendous, the ugly, the everything that you wish to happen. And Jamie Lowe, waka waka, dreams don't lie, mate. What a finish!
It was beautiful. I mean, it was a great goal, and it was, again, it's this, I said to you in the group chat, the kind of proverbial rocket that must have been fired up everyone at half time, because we did come out with a bit more urgency and tempo. I've seen people say, I've seen people on Twitter saying that it's because Morelos has come on, that's the reason for it. I think it's more to do with Beale getting him in at half time and say, you need to do this better, you need to do that better, and they do that better. It just coincides with Morelos coming on. But no, Sakala, great goal. But yeah, Sakala is this enigma of a player. He like that run that he made in the first half when Tav looked the ball over, great run, but then Sakala ends up doing what I'm going to class as Sakala things. But then equally, he done Sakala things there in the, what was it, 54th, 55 minutes, because that was a beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. It was similar to the Hibs goal? It was pretty similar to the goal he scored against Hibs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great finish, and it is fashion Sakala. Ali, your thoughts on the goal? Obviously, and as well, I'm seeing in the comments, obviously, I've not seen the reaction that the reason Cholak has come off, he's injured. Ray said that in the Trying Scotsman. He said that Beale saying Cholak got injured. That's why he didn't make the second half. I suppose that's another matter, but you can speak about Sakala first, mate, and then Cholak being injured. Brilliant day.
Yeah, there's not much more I can add in Sakala from what the guys have said there. That's just Sakala. I just think we need to persist with Sakala. You look at his record, Sakala, in the last 4 or 5 games, whatever he's played, he must have scored, 3 and 5, a few assists in there as well. So he's contributing to the team. So you need to persist with him, and this is what Sakala is. You're going to get this from him. You'll get bits of magic from him, and that was a bit of magic from him with the way he volleys that in the back of the net. What a goal it was from him. And after that, you've seen him as well, the confidence in him, because he morphs into a different player sometimes.
Mhm.
But I love Sakala. How can you not like the guy? That big smile he's got. He's got a cracking song, which Ryan loves as well. But I'm sure Ryan had the whack on in his house at that point. But no, we persist for Sakala going forward for me until we discover somebody for that right side. I know he scored for the left side, but on Cholak, I've not seen anything on Twitter. I've not seen Beale's post-match conference yet, so I don't know. But if Cholak is injured, it sums up our season, doesn't it? You think it'd be Kamara or something that it sums up the luck we've got. We have got absolutely no luck with players at the moment, especially getting back and they pull up again.
Yeah, I'd imagine Kamara's out for 7 to 10 days though after a 15-minute cameo at the end of this game. I would imagine that he is. But anyway, mate, I'll come back to you. We scored again. We really had our tails up though from the moment we scored them. I think we just decided that we were going to continue to keep going. Bursting forward is Tavernier. Jack plays him in. He cuts the ball into the middle. Sakala effort's blocked and it falls to Tilman, who takes a touch. And we are all screaming. I know we're all screaming at this point to hit it. Please hit it, everybody. They're screaming, every Rangers fan in the world. He takes a touch, he composes himself. He must have about 5 Dundee United players running out at him, and as cool as you like, he absolutely lashes it into the bottom corner alley. And 2 goals in 2 minutes. 2 guys that I was less than impressed with in the first half have answered our criticism, and this whole will reset at half-time thing is going to take a bit of getting used to, I think.
Yeah. He's Malik, give him the ball and he'll score. It was, I was the same. I was like lashing at it, but he's too cool for that, Malik Tilman. He does remind me a lot of Joe Rebo, but it's a great finish from him just to put that ball away. And he was another one that they all woke up to be fair in the second half. But it's frustrating because we know Rangers can play the way they played in the second half, or I would say for that 25-minute spell, I would say, before they kind of sort of sat in the 2-0 a wee bit. But it's frustrating because we don't start games like that. We can't seem to put a 90 minutes performance. It's always a kind of, there's wee spells within the game when we do really well, and that was a spell where we did well, and the game is killed at 2-0. Dundee United were dead and buried at 2-0, but he did extremely well. Malik, obviously my wee talk to him and the hospitality's done him well.
Yeah, well, I released a tweet at half-time saying that I wasn't very happy with Tilman and Sakala, and United looked the best team.
Do that more often.
Yeah, they've clearly read my tweet, so I'll take full credit for us being 2-0 up in 2 minutes. Ryan, this is what we should be doing to teams. This is what we take the lead. We should be scoring another one. And both goals, they're good. They are good goals that we've scored today. There's obviously an element of fortune for it to fall to Tilman the way it does. He's still got a bit of work to do by taking his touch and composing himself. It's a cracking finish, mate. And yeah, the 2 guys that I was least happy with in the first half have come back and they've answered the criticisms. And I'm never going to say that everything's okay when it isn't. And when these guys come out and make me have egg and pie all over my face, I'm happy for that to happen. Honestly, I want it to happen.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's a really positive thing that I said after the Old Firm game, that Bill's clearly getting a reaction out of these players. What's been said at half-time, I don't know, but you've seen them come out against Celtic and they looked hungry and the tempo went up. So he's obviously stuck a rocket up them, and he's done it again today and got a reaction, which is good, because I did call out a lot with Gio that he wasn't getting the reaction. At half-time we would play terrible and they would go in at half-time, then there'd be no change when they come out the second half. So he's clearly getting a reaction out of them some way, which is great. Their tempo was there, like from straight away you could see it was something different, taking less touches of the ball, trying to be more direct. And the goal's good because we've got bodies in the box waiting to put that in the back of the net. It does fall for Tilman nicely and he slots it away. But that's what you want to see. The likes of Sakala and Tilman and Kent as well need to get their numbers up. If they had done that in the first half of the season, things might have been different. So I'm hoping this is a kind of a theme starting with these guys, and it's going to continue till May because it has to. It has to. There's no option with it. But yeah, we look different. They look a bit. They just looked hungry to get the second goal, Carney, which is something we're probably not used to because we've so many times this season gone up 1-0 and just sat back. So that's what I want to see from a Rangers team, and more, please, more than 2 goals. But I won't criticise them for performance, because they did look as if they wanted to kill the game today.
Yeah, Scotia, I agree with Ryan there. I think as soon as they scored the first, they could probably see that it had knocked the stuffing out of United a wee bit, and Beale on the sidelines was probably the same, and probably screaming at them, you continue to keep pushing, you keep going, you try and get the second. And as I say, Ali was correct. At 2-0, the game was done. United were all out.
Yeah, no, I mean, that first goal certainly did give the team a lift. It even gave Tav a lift to get the cross in for, I think it fell to Sakala at first, didn't it?
Yeah,
Sakala, I'm just looking back to it, at the point, it was, it hits it, but I remember Kent, and I thought Kent jump over the ball. And I was like, why are you doing that? But it was like, when you see the replay back, he's just jumping out the way of the keeper. But no, it goes back to Tilman. And then, I think you used the word there, lash, but he lashes at it, but he also threads it through like a million defenders, really, wasn't it? And it was a lovely finish by him. And it's good to see us getting goals again throughout the team, because I made a comment earlier in the season where it was like, it's almost as if we just replaced Cholak for Morelos in terms of who was getting our goals. But at least now we're getting goals a wee bit all over the place at the moment. So that's good to see, and hopefully going forward we'll see more of it.
Yeah, I think as soon as you see, obviously after the 2 minutes that we scored the 2 goals is a bit frantic, obviously, so you can't really look at the kind of overall team as we playing. But even after that, when we settled into the game, you can actually see with your eyes the confidence levels within the players just completely rise, and it's throughout the team. It really is throughout the team. All of a sudden, there was more conviction in our passes. We were finding space that we weren't finding before. I know Dundee United obviously have to change what they're doing, but everything about it, our decision making, our tempo, our wanting to take a risk with a pass, wanting to take our men on, all of that just improves. So there's clearly still an issue with confidence within the team. I don't think there's really any great doubt about it. Ali, I'll come to you. Scotia mentioned there about the importance of us getting goals throughout the team. It has to be more than just a couple of players or one player getting most of our goals. And it leads me on Alfredo Morelos. A few people have said it. We discussed it before we came live as well. What was your thoughts on Morelos today?
I thought he was all right. I wanted a lot of focus saying he changed the game. I think he changed the game slightly in terms of the Dundee United backline need to think differently about him, because he moves about quite a lot, Morelos, but his actual game, a couple of good link-up plays. I thought he was okay, but that was it. I didn't think he was great. And he's not been great for a while, Morelos, let's be honest about it, but I thought he was all right. But we might have to go with him with Cholak injured again. Kamaru came back. But in terms of Morelos, for me, he's a 6 out of 10 for me. That's about it today.
Yeah, I think the same, mate. I think the United defence have to think differently with Morelos, just purely on the man himself. Do I think he was good today? No, I don't think he was particularly good. If at all, really. I mean, he wasn't really involved in any of the goals, but I think it does give them something else to think about. Again, that's my opinion. Ryan, I know you disagree, mate. Your thoughts on Alfie today?
Yeah, it's good. I actually was reading the comments there when Ali was talking, and I think you and I were at different ends of the scale in terms of what we thought of Morelos, Carney, before we came live. And I seen 2 boys there, and one said Alfie changed the game, then another guy saying he wasn't good. So, like we said before we came live, he does split the support at the moment. I thought, if you're looking at Cholak in the first half, and I'll say this a lot with Rangers strikers, this doesn't just account for Cholak. We could have had Lewandowski playing in that first half and not done anything, because the team's tempo wasn't there and they weren't creating chances. So I'm going to let Cholak off. Whereas in the second half, the tempo's up and we were bringing Alfie into the game. And I know Alfie's a different striker. And I agree with you that Dundee United have to think differently because of Alfredo Morelos, how he plays. However, I just think he looks very lazy at the moment, a bit uninterested. The ball that, I can't remember if it was Ryan Jack or Lundstrom, someone played a nice ball through to him over the top. And he for me, just needs to drive forward with that, and he tries some sort of volley chip lazy shot thing from like 30 yards out. And for me, I want my striker driving in on goal and having a shot at goal. And there's a couple of times I just felt he's not match sharp. And I worry that he's not overly interested at the moment. I don't, what he's like. He gets huffy if he's on the bench or whatever. But yeah, it looks as if he's going to play. If that's true about Čolak, then Alfie's going to play. So we need him to be sharp because we don't have many options up top.
No. Scotia, your thoughts on Morelos? And I get it, like I do, but I want Morelos to be busting a gut as well, mate, and to be taking that ball on. That effort was one of the ones that I kind of shook my head at as well, going, I don't even know why you're attempting that. You're if you were informed, then okay, maybe, but no, it was a real poor effort. And I mean, Beale has said, Scotia, that Morelos is carrying an injury, but the contract thing's going to continue to linger, mate, until we sort it one way or another.
Yeah, before I get to Morelos, Dundee Taylor, yes, I nearly did say jamped. Get that in the dictionary, please, everybody.
Jamped.
Good Scottish word, jamped.
Did you say jamped?
I very nearly did see that when I was last talking. Yes. No, but on Morelos, yeah, I agree with Ryan in what he's saying in the first half. The first half, I don't think Morelos makes any type of difference if he's playing during that because the whole team were just laboured in their performances. But I do think Morelos offers the front three, or if you want to call it the front three, a wee bit more fluidity when he's on the pitch rather than Čolak. Čolak's very he needs to play centrally really, whereas at least Morelos can drift out usually onto the right hand side and be pretty good. But was he great today? Not really, no. But he wasn't terrible. He linked up all right at a few occasions, and he maybe did. He brought Kent into the game a wee bit more as well with that fluidity. But I think Morelos is one of these players that he needs a run. He needs more than 5 or 6 games until he's up at his free-flowing best, which, like you say, with the news about Čolak, obviously don't know how serious it is. If that's true, he'll maybe get that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, there's not a lot more to go on in the second half, so I don't want to teach you how to suck eggs, if that makes sense, because Rangers really controlled the game. Dundee United tried to change things slightly, and obviously we're trying to push, was giving us a lot more space, but Rangers were so comfortable, really well. We were very comfortable for the rest of that half, and there was not a great deal to go on, no real clear-cut chances at all. Sakala had one just fly over the bar before he went off. He was replaced by Scott Arfield. And yeah, the game kind of lost its tempo, but I think United knew the game was over, and I think Rangers knew fine well that the game was over as well. Ali, Kamar Roof came on. Do my eyes deceive me?
He did. Yeah, I had Tommy and Mahal over my flat tonight watching the game. Well, I had a chuckle when Kamar Roof came on, like, when's he going to injured and all this. He was all right, Kamar Roof. When he came on, the game was dead, though. The thing that I noticed, it annoys me with Rangers, but I get why they do it, because we've got a big game coming Sunday. When we go 2 up, Rangers, we just kind of shop, move the ball about. And I get why we do it, conserve energy. We've got a game next Sunday, a big game for us, but I would just like us to go and get a third and completely kill the game. I know the game was dead at 2, but we fall into this lull for the last 15, 20 minutes, and it's just keeping the ball, basically. And I get why they do it. But Kamar Roof comes on at that point where we're basically just keeping the ball. But I thought he looked all right. He had nothing to go off. He had one wee chance where he was in with the goalkeeper, a wee kind of scuffle, but that was it, to be honest. But he's not injured, apparently, Kamar Roof, so he'll be there for Aberdeen on Sunday.
There's music to my ears. Well, we've got a full week to go yet, mate. You never know. He might stub his toe on a table or something like that. You never know. Ryan, look, Kamar Roof's going to be pretty critical for us now, especially if we don't know the details of Čolak's injury. But if Morelos is struggling, then we need options up top, and a fit Kamar Roof, a fit and in form and match sharp Kamar Roof improves this squad.
Oh, without a doubt. I find it hard to laugh at the Kamar Roof jokes about his injury and stuff because I like him so much. So it's kind of like hearing it like somebody slagging a family member. I'm kind of like, shut up, leave it. But I totally get it. He's never fit. He's never fit. So I totally get the kind of jokes about his injuries. But there's no doubt if he can stay fit, he's a fantastic footballer. Roof. He's actually, in my opinion, probably too good for Scottish football when he is fit. Probably why, because his injuries, why he is here. I've said that a few times. But yeah, he'll give you goals. His goal. Scotia will probably have these figures to hand. But I think he's played something like 70 odd games and scored like 38 goals, something around those numbers, which is phenomenal for someone who's not played a lot of football for us. But yeah, it's a positive him coming on. But I'd expect it's going to take a while for him to get back up to match sharpness. He's not played a lot of football. What is it, 4 games this season? So yeah, it's going to take a lot of time. But if Cholak is out, we need Kemar Roof fit. There is no doubt about that.
Absolutely no doubt about it. Scotia, yeah, Kemar Roof, there wasn't a lot really to go on for him today, but it is good to see him back because he could be critical for us.
No, definitely. I think that's the most important thing, getting him back in and playing those 15 minutes should do him good for the coming games, because it's next week really is, well, next Sunday and the Sunday, Saturday after it are 2 massive games because they're both cup games. Sorry, they could define our season. These 2 games coming up, obviously, with Kelly sandwiched in between them. So you would hope that he would get some game time there. But I agree with Ryan in terms of, I think Roof's probably, when fit, the best striker in Scotland in terms of what he can do best in that area. And he wouldn't be, I think we even said it when we signed him, he wouldn't be at Rangers if he didn't have this injury record, and it's the only reason he's here, really. But hopefully, I don't know how many times we've said this, but hopefully he can stay injury-free for the rest of the season, because it could be really important, and particularly in the Cups going forward.
Yes, here's hoping, man. Here is hoping. But yeah, no, as I say, very little. Freeman from United got booked for a wee lash out at Barisic. Barisic got up, and I thought he was going to get a full Croatian backlash, but it didn't come to anything.
You'll probably not see that guy again, Carney, to be honest.
No, you probably won't. Yeah,
I think the moth will get a hold of him.
His cards are marked, that is for sure.
You'll need to give you a phone, Ryan, because you've avoided the moth for a while. So.
Listen, I think Borna Barisic and his father are fantastic human beings. You know that, Alistair?
No, let's as well. Ryan had to sell his house. We've never asked why Ryan had to sell his house, so we'll just leave that there. We'll just leave that there. No, obviously I'm kidding. We brought on Right and Divine.
Why did you do that, Carney, by the way, with a minute left? I don't get that.
I don't get it. But it's just to kill time, isn't it, really? It's just a case of just killing time, I suppose. But no, another one, a weird one for me when we done it. I was like, very strange. And that's it. The game finishes Dundee United 0, Rangers 2. And yes, it's after a less than stress-free first half, it was a very delightful second half. Rangers scored the 2 goals in 2 minutes, killed the game, and it was an enjoyable watch from there on in, because Rangers just controlled the game, controlled the tempo of the game, and it was a comfortable 2-0 win, which probably should have been. It should have been more. Should we have everybody fully fit? I think it could have been a bit of a cricket score in that second half, because I don't think United really had much left to respond with after we went up. So yeah, I am more than happy with that. I will take it. So Ali, your second half man of the match, mate, because nobody in the first half get pass marks. So your second half man of the match.
Well, I had Tommy and Mahal over. Mahal gave it to Ryan Kent and Tommy gave it to Sakala. I was humming and hawing between the two of them. I thought Ryan Kent was very good today again. I thought he was going to make things happen again. I like this kind of role he's got under Beale rather than stuck out in the wing. But my man of the match is the man for Zambia, because he tries and tries and tries. The first half, yes, he was frustrating, Carney, but he was trying. He gives 100%, and he gives you that goal in the second half. And after that, I thought he was really good. So the man for Zambia for me.
That's fair enough, mate. Ryan, your man of the match, or your second half man of the match, please.
Yeah, my second half man of the match. I think there's a couple. I think Sakala was really good. It's easy to give him it. I thought Ryan Jack was very tidy today, and he played 90 minutes, which is really good to see. But I agree. I don't know who Ali said it was that said Ryan Kent. I think Ryan Kent's work rate was underrated today. I thought he didn't stop moving, trying to make things happen. He had that kind of free role in the second half. He was everywhere, and I've criticised Ryan Kent a lot this year because his numbers aren't up, and maybe his body language a bit, but he did not stop running. That's all I want to see from a Rangers player. If you do that every game, I'm happy, so I'll give it to Ryan Kent.
That's fair enough, mate. I agree. I thought Ryan Kent, even off the ball, Ryan Kent didn't stop today. He constantly chased today. He really looked like he was up for it. Scotia, your man of the match, and I bet you steal mine. I bet you do.
Yeah, well, Ryan's already mentioned him. So
Fucking
yeah,
knew you were
sorry.
going to. I knew you were going to.
apologise. Well, we've not really spoke much about him while we've been discussing the game because we haven't. But
It was my
it's Ryan
crescendo,
Jack.
mate. I was waiting, mate. It was my crescendo.
I apologise. Yeah, it's Ryan Jack. So on you go. You can take it away then. Mine's is Ryan Jack. If you don't say any of the reasons that you don't, I'll say
Yeah.
them.
100%, mate. Ryan Jack for me. I think the man for Zambia is a cracking shout as well, and so's Kent. I thought their work rate was brilliant, and for Sakala to keep going and to get his goal, even though after such a poor first half, but in my opinion, I can see why you've went with Sakala, but Ryan Jack for me in that second half, I thought he controlled that game. I thought him and Lundstrom just shored up the middle of the park. There was nothing getting past either of them. Lundstrom was winning the ball, immediately giving it to Jack. Jack was on the front foot going forward like a number 8 should do. And Ryan's spot on as well. He got 90 minutes under his belt. I just thought Jack was everywhere. He was always there for the pass. He was always there to keep the ball moving. So for me, I was so happy when I got to the end of that game and I was thinking about it and I thought, my God, Ryan Jack is my man of the match. Scotia, anything to add?
Yeah, like you say, it's where obviously we spoke about the first half, the tempo not being there, and where the tempo needs to come from is your middle of the park. Those are your players that can deliver you the tempo. And I thought Ryan Jack, along with Lundstrom as well, but Ryan Jack in particular was great at that. He was getting a wee bit further forward. He was linking up really well with Borna and Kent out on that left-hand side. It was reminded me of the Ryan Jack of old at points as well, and I loved his misplaced header come shoulder to set up Sakala for the goal as well was particularly pleasing.
No, yeah, he got an assist as well today. So yeah, no, I agree, mate. I just thought he was the number 8 that you want in a Rangers team in that second half. As I say, we only picked one for the second half because the first half generally you couldn't pick one. I don't think you could actually pick anybody in that first half that done. But McLaughlin, probably. That was probably the only one from the first half would be McLaughlin. So yes, that'll do us for tonight. 3 points. Say a good way to spend a Sunday afternoon, especially that second half. Very enjoyable to watch. Ali, for tonight, mate, thank you very much.
No problem. 3 points, clean sheet. Still a good record for Michael Beale, undefeated. Hopefully this time next week we will be in a boozer somewhere celebrating Rangers getting into the final of the League Cup as well. So I will look forward to that.
Fingers crossed. If not, I'll be at home. I've just went, no, that's enough for me. I'm away home. Done that before. Ryan, thanks very much, mate.
Cheers, boys. Weekend not ruined, so thank you, Rangers. I think you're seeing positives from Beale's tenure, but his management team are obviously putting things in place. But I do think that first half, if you're being realistic with yourself, you're going to see it again this season. That's the reason why we're where we are at the moment. But there's definitely more positives. I'm feeling good about Rangers at the moment, and I am liking the sound of Beale in interviews. So more of that, please. And apparently, a couple of signings coming this week.
That's what we are all hoping for, mate. That is what we are all hoping for sure. And Scotia, thank you very much, mate.
No, it's been a pleasure, lads. Thank you very much. It's good to be back on after. It feels like ages, but it was only last Monday that I was on. But no, great to be back on. And I'm away to ruin Ali's start of pod comments about being a sober weekend and going to having a few beers to watch the rest of the football on this evening.
I knew you wouldn't be able to behave yourself, Scotia. Honestly,
you can never behave yourself. You can never behave yourself. Never, ever, ever. So yeah, 3 points. Rangers haven't ruined the weekend. I say a very enjoyable second half at that, and I get to give Ryan Jack man of the match, which is absolutely tremendous. So we'll be back on Tuesday with Club Deck Corner, as Ryan mentioned, hopefully with a few signings to discuss, or ones that look that are very close anyway, give us something to get a wee bit excited about. And yeah, until then, please do subscribe to the channel, please do like the videos, and we'll speak to you all on Tuesday. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everyone.